Working high intent leads and having a strategy specifically with drip leads is a methodology. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly some of the strategies. This is part one of essentially a 5-part series where I'm going to be working through exactly how to make 40K a month as an agent or get to $1 million a month as an agency owner. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 3.5 years, we've helped over 550 agents issue pay 40K a month. And on this channel, all I do is try to break down concepts, mindsets, and behaviors that those individuals are doing, so that way you can go out and implement that into your business and execute at a high level and continue to grow. So as always, please make sure that you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you all. And let's hop right into the video. So this is going to be a 4-part series. I am a man of my words, so I do apologize. I have been a little MIA. I had a few things I had to handle and then just some business stuff that needed to get taken care of. But essentially, I'm going to be, these are not going to be as long as my traditional ones. So I'm going to be broken down into basically 5 videos because I've missed since Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. So I've missed basically the last 5 days, but it's time for me to get back on track and really get to it. And I said I'm going to lock in for this, and that's what I'm going to do. So phase one, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the mindset. So let me kind of take you back to like how this started. So for those of you who don't know, I have an offer. It's called the Apex. We work with agencies that are pushing, 200 really to 500,000, and we take them to $1 million. And we have a few agencies that are at $1 million, and we scale them up even higher. And there's a few different ways that we focus with our clients. One of them is just like traditional retainer model. It's cool. It's what a lot of people do. I don't necessarily love it. Not necessarily there's anything wrong with it, but we're not able to really get in the weeds in the way that we would like to. So, when we first started our company, we did a lot of self-gen, what people are calling self-gen. We just ran ads. It's pretty simple for individual agents. And then about 1.5 years ago, we started doing the Apex, which is more for agency owners. The reason I'm bringing that up is because, to keep it super simple, one of the things that I've noticed, so I have an agency, they're like barely at the cusp. And I was very hesitant low key on bringing them on because what I noticed is that a lot of times when you have an agency come in and they want to like split it, or they're, really not committed to going all in, you ask them to record content, to do the things that are necessary to grow a business. And there's like so much pushback. They just want the easy stuff. I apologize, not simple. It tends not to go well. And I'm making this video because I want to talk about the people that have worked with us and what it looks like to have success and for it to go well. Because having leads drip in is so different than you buying leads from like a traditional lead vendor or just buying a batch of like aged leads or whatever. And there's a few things that are super important. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about the mindset. Now, for me, mindset is super important for a few reasons. Number one, money. How do you view money? Okay, so let me do this real quick. So, how do you view money? Now, most people look at money as like, man, they have a scarcity mindset. And I feel like scarcity mindset transcends beyond just like who you are before. But even when you get into life insurance and selling life insurance. Now, life insurance is essentially high ticket sales. Let's just call it what it is. The reality, though, is that so many people get caught up in, man, if I spend this money, I might lose it. Or what happens if it doesn't work? It's like, bro, that is the worst way to think about the world. What happens if it doesn't work? What about like it's gonna work? Or regardless of how I feel, this is what I have to do. Or the fact is that it has to work or it has to work. That's my mantra. I got that from Nehemiah Davis, the entrepreneur down in Atlanta. And like that's just the way you gotta live. Like it has to work or it has to work. If you have a scarcity mindset on money, this is not gonna work for you. Like dripping leads, self-gen, whatever you want to call it, it may work temporarily, but you will never be able to compound and build something big because it's going to bleed into your people. If you cannot set up an ad and be okay with, like, it blows my mind that people are like, yo, I'm spending $100 a day, like for a month. I'm like, dude, you spent $3,000. Like, do you really think that you spending $3,000 is supposed to just move the needle instantaneously? Now, like with us, we have blueprints and systems for you to plug into where, yes, we're going to make you money. Like you're going to make sales. But if you think that you're just going to put money in and overnight, you are just all of a sudden going to have a miracle, that is wrong. You have the wrong mindset. You view money wrong. You think money is always an instant gratification. This game has messed you up because you're getting these advances. That's not your money. Let's just call it what it is. That's not your money. People think, oh yeah, you're not making 50K a month. You are getting loaned 50K a month. When you make 50 or 100K a month, you view the world very differently. I'll give you a perfect example. People say, yeah, I did all this. It's like, bro, if I tell you, if somebody comes to me, right, we're making right around like 200 on average a month. A few months ago, we were doing like 110, finished with ball. Now I'm all in. So we're growing. If somebody comes to me and says something costs 10K, it's like, okay. I just paid $100,000 for a mentorship. Not that I'm like special. I'm not trying to say it, but it's like, dude, if I asked an agency owner who was doing 200K to drop $100,000, do you think they would do it? Like, it's $100,000 for us to partner with each other for the year. Whoa, that's a lot of money. It's like, bro, because you don't really got $1 million a month. You don't really got 100K a month. You're not. So like, let's just throw all that out the way. It's okay. Let's be real with ourselves. And that's the next thing. It's gonna be like reality check. So many people, when they come into these drip leads, they brag and boast, and then they get on the sales call, or they get on a call with you, or more importantly, screw the sales call. You're like, dude, it's time to put money into ads. They're like, yeah, how much? How little can I spend to get an ROI? It's like, bro, what are you even doing? Why would you even think like that? And the reality is, it's because you have the wrong mindset. You also don't understand how money works. You think that you're supposed to put $1 in and immediately get $100 out, or $300 out, or $5,000 out. And it's really not even like, in most businesses, if you said, yeah, I spent $3,000 and I made 15, people would be like, yo, that's great. In life insurance, it's like, yeah, you put $3,000 in, you make 15, you're like, dude, this sucks. And it's like, okay, you don't really understand how this works, and you're not willing to play the game. The problem is that the money that you're like, the law of averages is still the law of averages, no matter where you want to go. I talk about that on my channel so much because if you don't have this right, screw the self-gen, screw all that other stuff. Like everybody else on YouTube, all these other people are like, yeah, man, just pay me all this money and get all this value. It's like, bro, shut up. Like, respectfully, like, you got to do the things that make sense. To me, right, if you have a scarce mindset and you want to get into doing drip leads, which is essentially just self-gen, which is essentially just people running ads for you. I'm using all these words because it's attractive to people to watch the video. But I'm gonna be honest with you. People are just running ads. Let's not complicate it. When you buy leads, they're just running ads and they're giving you the leads. When you run ads and they call it self-gen, you're just running ads. And it's like, yeah, this retainer or this management fee is just retainer. You're just paying them as if they were your staff members to do a job. The difference is when you start paying people for specific work versus paying people to hire them. There's two different things. And I have a whole video that breaks that down in terms of the difference between staff and the difference between systems, right? When you're hiring staff and when you're building systems, staff creates systems. Systems don't give you staff. Systems are systems. That's just what they are, right? But this is a mindset thing. If you have a scarce mindset about money, you're cooked. It doesn't matter. Now, the reality check is that you're not really making the money you say you are. You know, you're not making the money you say you are. People do not want to admit a reality. Be real. Stop lying to yourself. You're posting on Instagram. You're telling people your business does this. You make all this. Bro, none of that matters to me if when push comes to shove, you cannot spend money on ads. You think that you spending money on ads is a thing. You spent $500 for the week and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't get anything. It's like, dude, first of all, you did get some leads. Let's just not call it that. Second of all, you're just being way too impatient and you don't really got the cheese. And that's okay. But if that's you, this is not for you. Now, I'll tell you that because I'm not pressed over the bread. Other people will just try to close you. I'm not here to do that. I do this channel completely free to help you make money, like to show you what's really working. The top dogs, the people that are really crushing it, they understand this. They're not pressed about spending $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50, $100,000 to take a quote unquote loss to learn something because it's just money. When you have a scarce mindset, you're all attached to it. You're like, oh, I tried somebody and it didn't work. It's like, bro, if you're literally gonna say I tried something and it didn't work, it's the same way of talking about marriage. It's like, cool, I'm never gonna get married because it didn't work. I used to say all the time, man, I'm gonna never get married. Women do this, men do this, blah, blah, blah. You can't trust anybody. It's like, okay, cool. That's your reality. Like, oh, yeah, it's not going to work. It's like parents and people being like, yeah, I knew that wasn't going to work. Dude, you only have one shot for it to work. Of course it's not going to work. Like, everybody fails until you find the person that it works for. You're playing the wrong game when you look at it like that. Like, you need to understand that, like, okay, dude, if I throw 100 darts at the board, only one can stick. You only get married to one person. So yes, you are going to get let down. You are going to have failures. People are going to do you wrong. You probably will get cheated on. Like it's a part of, just like you're going to work with a company and they may suck. That doesn't mean that you don't work with the company anymore. That doesn't mean that you say, I'm not going to run ads or I'm just going to figure it out on my own. That's the dumbest thing in the world. That's like a business saying, like literally when you're a life insurance agency owner and you're like, I'm going to figure it out on my own. That to me is the most ignorant thing in the world. Because it's like, so you're going to build a business, do sales, and you're going to run ads. It's like, If every company could do that and it would work and it would actually be profitable and they would actually get leverage, do you think that they would hire sales teams? Why would, like, for me, even me, like I have a marketing team and I understand. This is the thing. I know how to run ads. I could sit down and do it. That's not my highest form of leverage. So I pay my team great money to do it. I understand CRMs. Am I a wizard at it? No. Can I figure it out? 1000%. Am I going to do it? Absolutely not. I'm going to pay somebody to come in and do it. That's the difference between staff, right, and a system. And most people can't understand that. If you have no reality check and you do not understand how money works, you're cooked. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what the person says, how good the leads are, because here's what the reality is. When you do ads, which is drip leads, which is self-gen for just everybody out there, when you do ads, all you are doing is putting money into a machine and figuring out what works for you. Because I may run ads and do it this way, and I'm a dog and I know how to sell this way. You may not need that. You may need a chat bot. You may need 15 follow-ups. You may need a million other things. You may need a landing page. This person might need forms. You might need low volume. This person might need intent. You might need 10 pre-qualified questions. This person needs 2. So people come into it with the wrong mindset and they're like, I want to have fresh leads that don't cost a lot, that drip in really fast and get set up fast. It's like, okay. I have a video I recorded on this too about the 3 things that you can choose. It's like, dude, you can't get fast, high intent, and super consistent overnight. Not going to happen. Like, you're going to have to suffer in one way. Like, if you want fast and super high intent, you better be willing to spend a lot of money. Not no $100 a day either. $300, $400, $500 a day and get through it real quick. If that's what you want. If you want super quality and consistent, right, you better be willing to understand that it's going to take a little bit of time. Right? Unless you're willing to spend a whole lot of money. It's like you can't have all those things. So if you don't understand and you have the wrong mindset about cheese, if you feel like cheese is money, for those that don't know, if you have the wrong mindset about money, this is not going to work for you. Yes, you may have a little bit of success, but you will never, ever, ever scale. Even if you're like, yeah, I'm willing to spend money. It's like, dude, if you view it wrong, you're screwed. And then the reality is, if you don't, like, stop saying you have the money. If there's one thing I hate, because I've been an agent and I've been that dude who's like, yeah, bro, I'm making 30K, or like my agency does this. I'm like, I don't, stop trying to brag. Because at the end of the day, the people who know if you have money, you want to know the people who know, no matter what, if you really have cheese, lead vendors and marketing teams. Why? Because if they get on a call with you and you're bragging and you say you make $1 million, then it's like, okay, cool, bro, you make $1 million. Then give me 10 grand a month. No. It's like, okay, it's $30,000. If you're making $1 million a month, what is 30K? Well, it's like, come on, bro. Exactly my point. So let's not do that. Let's talk about the reality of the situation. Let's be real about where your money really is at and what you can really spend, right? And it's like, well, I'm trying to, it's like, then here's the thing that kills me. It's like, you're not even taking that money and putting it. If you were like, hey, I don't want to do that because I run businesses and I put money here, which most people say they do and they don't, because you could just lock in on one thing and scale it up. It's like, ads is the best place to put your money. You're guaranteed to get leads. And when it works, it hits. It's like, it's not about if it works, it's just when it works. And if you don't have that mindset, when you start, you're absolutely screwed. So as always, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm actually about to record the next video. I'm going to be breaking down the specific lead types that are necessary when you are doing drip in leads and what can your expectations be.